So going into sociology, everyone knows you as the parapsychology guy, but
Yeah,
so sociology and then criminology.
that's right.
What attracted you to criminology?
Well, the truth is, I wanted to get admitted to Berkeley. I,
That guy
Just
creeped me
Berkeley
out.
didn't
I don't
matter
know.
why.
as soon as I
I
graduated
didn't
from
watch that whole one.
college in Madison, Wisconsin, with a BA in psychology, I got a job in Rockford, Illinois, at a mental health program, the Singer Mental
Sit
Health
out
Zone
here.
Center, which prided itself on being 10
'Cause
years
this
ahead of the times, which for me wasn't
cloud's
enough.
kind of drippy.
I quit after 6 weeks and got in my car and made a beeline to San Francisco.
Why did you? What was going on at the mental health facility that made you quit so quickly?
Behaviorism.
Behaviorism
Yeah.
from the doctors.
That was the philosophy of the time. The behaviorist model of human behavior and psychology was dominated by B.F. Skinner and behaviorism. And they had, for example, a big computer in the basement of this facility. And every time I interacted with a patient, I had to fill out a computer form and they were going to keep track of it. And I thought to myself, they're missing everything here. For example, when I was with some of the patients, I did some simple experiments I had read about the Esalen Institute and a guy named Bernie
It just
Dunford,
marked
who
it.
talked about awakening the senses. And
Plane
I had people
flew
I could
this
just
way,
say,
which is
tap your
kind
head,
of
use your fingers,
unusual.
experience the feeling of what it's like. And there was a woman who hadn't spoken in 20 years and started talking after that. And I realized that the facility where I was
This
had
is
no
what it
concept
sounds
of
like
human depth.
when
Did
doves
the other
cry.
professors there think you were straight? Because you mentioned tapping. That's a real thing now.
Yeah.
All
Did they think, like, why
fucking
is this guy making them
day
hit themselves in
long.
the head? What does he do? Were they?
There's
I
a
don't
point
think I fit
it
in
would
there
seem.
very well. For whatever reason, I was destined to do something different with my life.
I think we're going to see that as a threat is when you land into an institution, it doesn't work for you. I think we're going to see that.
It's really true. In fact, every time I was at a university, the University of Wisconsin or even Berkeley, which was much more attuned with my way of thinking, my favorite professors would get fired or would leave.
Because they were just too outside the
Yeah.
mainstream.
And I'll give you another example.
Okay.
After years of struggle, as you mentioned, I achieved a doctoral degree, a unique, individual, interdisciplinary doctoral degree in parapsychology, the only one ever awarded to this day, 40 years later.
And what's the quick definition of parapsychology?
Parapsychology is the scientific study of extrasensory perception and psychokinesis and the possibility of human survival after death.
Mainstream doesn't like this.
No. But the point is that I want to make, just in the context of this conversation, I got the degree and I went to see my mentor at the time. I was so proud. My committee had just finalized everything. So I went to visit Arthur Young, who was a 70-year-old man at the time, or in his 70s.
The Bell helicopter Arthur?
Yes.
Was your mentor?
Yes.
Okay. This is going to get interesting.
Arthur was an amazing guy. Astrology effects. He started looking at my chart and he said to me, how long did you work on this degree? And I said, it's been about 6 years, a little over 6 years since I entered the doctoral program that I created for myself in parapsychology. And he looked at me and he said, well, it's going to take you 6 years more to undo all the damage the university has done to you.
Wow. So he saw that in you.
Not just me.
Well, how do you create a PhD?
Yeah.
Because it's accredited, and you had to fight for that, didn't you?
Well, there was a program at Berkeley whereby if you're already a graduate student in good standing, You want to do a dissertation on a topic where you can't find 3 professors in your department who will sponsor you, but you can find 3 professors in a variety of different departments who will sponsor you. You can create your own program. And I took advantage of that very obscure rule. After I graduated from Berkeley, they canceled the whole thing.
Oh, you can't do that anymore.
They just reinstated it a few years ago.
Okay.
Finally.
What was your dissertation about?
Training ESP abilities.
Wow, and so you got sponsors for that.
Faculty
sponsored that.
Yes.
That's amazing. And I think it's interesting that there was didn't they try to take that away from you and you fought?
Well, there were organized skeptics, there still are.
Oh yes.
Organized skeptics who were offended by the very idea that a major school, Berkeley's one of the best in the world, would grant a degree in parapsychology. This horrified them because they see it as a rising tide of superstition.
Right.
And so they put pressure on the university to cancel the degree after it had already been awarded, and the pressure was quite significant. The university tried to do that. I had to pull some strings. Fortunately, I had some support from people who believed in what I was doing, and those people failed in their effort to get the university to undo my degree, but it put me through hell at the time.
Of course. And your doctorate stands.
Yeah.
So, criminology.
Yeah.
Take us back. What attracts you to criminals? You go from mental health to now criminal. I mean, are we talking
well,
serious?
as I say, I moved to California,
Right.
to the Bay Area, and I wanted to enroll at Berkeley. And I had studied when I was at Wisconsin with Seymour Halleck, who was a psychiatrist and who specialized in criminology. So, and I knew, frankly, that I could get in to criminology. There were openings in the School of Criminology at Berkeley. Psychology, they accepted, I think, 20 students every year, and they had like thousands of applicants. And even though I had a good grade point and so on, I didn't know that I would get admitted, but I knew I could be admitted in criminology. So I went for that because they had a psychology track. I was interested in clinical work, and I could do that in the School of Criminology. And so if you had known me in 1972, for example, you would have seen me doing volunteer work at San Quentin Prison in the psychiatric unit, conducting group therapy sessions with murderers and rapists.
What were they like as people?
That's the interesting thing. I thought they were pretty much just like you and me.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
That makes me think that everyone maybe has a certain trigger, where there's something in everybody.
We all have a little larceny in
Yes,
our
we
heart.
do.
You might say it's because I'm pretty convinced, that the whole human population shares this. It hasn't affected me and isn't in some way part of me.
Sure.
But I can tell you that the staff in the prison didn't see it that way.
I bet not. Did you also have a unique approach to therapy when you were speaking with the...
Well, I was a young kid at the time. I can't say I was experienced, although I will tell you that young and experienced college students are very good therapists.
I bet they are, because you're not so hardwired yet. You're still kind of exploring new things.
You're willing to listen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you make a difference in any of those people's lives?
See a big old cat face coming out.
I can't
With
say
his paw
for sure.
up in the air, he's on his back.
I didn't do any follow-up with them.
It's a Lyran ship.
Did you feel like...
I think they made a difference in my life.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
What did they contribute to that?
they contributed a sense of humanity, of understanding what it meant to be human, something about myself, ultimately.
Did that surprise you?
It felt natural. I can't say it surprised me.
Because a lot of people would be frightened to be in that situation with those people,
Mm-hmm.
but you feel like that experience enriched your life in a way.
I would say the guards were more frightening than the inmates.
Okay, fair enough. They probably weren't as
No
empathetic
shit.
as you were.
And you would, they were always hovering around to make sure I was safe.
Sure.
But they kept a sort of a menacing demeanor on their. If you look at them, they'd be scowling, and I don't
Have a good
perhaps things have
story
changed
about a
since
mean
then, but
guard.
the general attitude was that these inmates aren't quite human.
So those guards didn't feel like we shared a consciousness at all or anything with these people.
Not only the guards, but my supervisors in the psychiatric unit you'd hear expressions like they're a different kind of cat. They're just not like us.
That's a casual way of dehumanizing somebody.
Yeah.
That really is.
Yeah.
Is that what made you leave criminology?
No, I would have stuck it out, but for the fact that I had the most powerful mystical, psychic, paranormal event of my life at that time.
Were you a believer in parapsychology?
Yes.
You were.
From